Most employees know they're getting stressed at work when they're showing physical symptoms of one sort or another. They could be health-related symptoms. So the health-related symptoms would be starting to drink too much alcohol, smoking more, that kind of health, eating too little, too much, that kind of thing. Then there are just ordinary behaviors. Normally when they're very affable and sociable, they become socially withdrawn, they don't go out with their colleagues for lunch, they're more aggressive in meetings. In other words, it's behavior change, major behavior change. If somebody says to you, Kerry, you're kind of not yourself, you haven't been yourself for the last few weeks, they are observing in you a behavior change. And that's the first indication that you're moving from just ordinary pressure, which you get in the workplace, which is stimulating and motivating, into the stress zone.
It's very individualistic, so there's something about being able to tune into yourself, and self-awareness is the first place to start. So it's noticing anything that changes for you. So if you're someone who is normally, really very calm or very tolerant of other people, and you find that you're becoming less so and you're irritable and you're snapping at people, then that is a change. And there's something about noticing that and then doing some kind of reflection around what's going on for you. Now, on the other hand, if you're someone who's always irritable with other people, which happens, and always a bit snappy and always a bit intolerant, then actually it could be that you become so you don't care anymore. So you're actually, your behaviour is reversing. So you stop reacting to people. You say, oh, I can't be bothered to argue with you. I'm going to withdraw. Again, that's a change in behaviour. So although there are sort of classic signs of stress, which might be irritability, it's not always that straightforward in terms of the fact that actually if you're normally irritable and become less so, that also could be a sign that something's not quite right.
It may be quick to be angry as well as quick to be tearful. People who are becoming a bit withdrawn, not interacting, who aren't usually themselves, are not performing to the optimum levels, their performance may be dropping. There are a whole range of things that might start to identify that somebody is suffering at work and not performing well.
It manifested itself in being forgetful, sleepless nights, just not being able to concentrate and just not really paying attention to what I was doing. So it was manifesting itself in making it look like I had capability issues when in fact that wasn't the case. It was just where my mind was just completely awash with, what I wasn't addressing, completely filling with cortisol. That's it. It was like brain fog. So this would manifest itself in me being forgetful, my KPIs were not being achieved, I was irritable, I was tired, and then it just got worse and worse and worse where I was using the drugs to self-medicate.
So I think changes of performance would be one thing that I would say. So if you've got good performers who suddenly aren't performing so well, then that would be something that I'd certainly be looking for. I think, problems with relationships. So if people are kind of falling out, or if there's kind of, again, less communication, less collaboration perhaps than normal. So if there's any of those changes, I'd be looking for that. You probably notice if there's changes to levels of energy, if someone is normally enthusiastic and then they're being a bit flat about things. Dropping balls, so that's the classic thing, not managing to do perhaps things that they would have normally done in the past. And there could of course be a myriad of reasons for all of these things, so it's not necessarily that the problem is a mental health problem. It may not be, it could be something else. So there's something about being open-minded and inquiring and actually having conversations.
What I would say to any employer that think that somebody may be going through stress, have a look at whether the individual is feeling tired, whether they're irritable, whether they're being forgetful, whether they're highly emotional, and if their work capability, not the capabilities, but if their work is taking a little bit of a knock, a bit of a setback, if they're finding things a bit challenging, all these can be that that person individually is under stress, and we know we do not perform well under stress.